The reason why we put addresses out there is to allow packets to get to places. But packets aren't that clever. We need to put signposts all over the internet to say where things are. We need to build a map of the network. And the way we do this is with a very particular bunch of protocols called routing protocols. And for the big internet, the protocol we use is quite an old one. It's about 25 years old these days, called the Border Gateway Protocol, or BGP. BGP is the glue that actually makes the internet work. And when we talk about, as we do in address policy in APNIC, how we distribute addresses, there's this other conversation about how addresses are used and routed. And we modify our behaviour, so we're not trying to blow the internet up. We're not trying to make these addresses distributed in such a way that is unroutable. We'd like things to work. But that then gives another question. How do we know it's working? How do we actually know that the addresses we're giving out in such a manner that routing works? So some of my recent work has been in looking at how's routing behaved. Has it got worse? Has it got better? With many systems, like the roads and cars, the more cars, the worse the roads. They're only a finite capacity. And you'd expect with some routing protocols that the more you're trying to route, the bigger the internet, the worse the performance. But is that the case? Is that what we see, or is something else going on? So a lot of my work has been in looking and measuring, and some of the results are actually really quite surprising. We're not sure why or how we're doing it, but oddly enough, we've made the internet grow amazingly. Last year we grew from 400,000 routed entries to 500,000. 25% growth. Did routing get any better? Well, oddly enough, it did. It didn't get worse, it got better. Whatever we're doing in routing, oddly enough, we're doing the right thing. And that's actually allowing us to use these technologies, which are 25 years old, before mobiles were ever invented, still on today's internet, and route a network successfully and with the same performance parameters that we saw, in fact, better performance parameters than we saw that long ago. And that's, I suppose, an illustration of the kind of feedback between the policy folk and the outcomes in the network, to try and understand the ramifications of when we create this policy about addressing and address distribution, what does it mean in routing? And I'm trying very hard to see if I can answer those questions.